other brutally. 22 women resorting to Johar, 22 women along with their milk-sucking infants kill themselves by jumping into a well. There are congressmen and other old people in the city as well as in villages who think that it is the British colonialists who are responsible for communal riots. They express the view that if British authorities deploy forces, the communal frenzy could be checked. In proof of this view, an aeroplane is showing taking rounds in the air over the city and the villages after 4 days of rioting and killings and are becoming normal as the rioters are retreating. British Deputy Commissioner Richard is presented in the true colors of colonial master. His wife Lisa keeps on questioning him what the difference is between Hindu, Sikh and Muslims. Richard, who is an art lover, a sensitive person like IAS bureaucrats of today, but he is very clear in his mind about British colonial interests. He tells Lisa that if these people keep on fighting among themselves, the Britishers are safe. Lisa is sharper in her expression as she accuses the Britishers of making natives fight among themselves. The main core of authors concerned in the novel is to show first it was the British who made Indians fight each other in the name of religion or communities to delay the process of granting independence to India, and second, to grant independence only after weakening it considerably by communal divisions so that its economic interests are safe and the divided countries remain weak in a very respect even after getting independence. While British, while Bhisham Sahni is successful in depicting colonial interests as of the real cause of communal divide in the country, his other plea that effective administrative measures could check communal divide seems to be superficial. It may have temporary effect on the situation, but till the communal ideas in extent, its representative forces are present in society, purely administrative measures can hardly check the communal drift in the society, as has been shown in so many instances in the post-partition communal situations in the country. As a readable novel, Thomas did not create as such a stir as its tele-adaptation created. After Govind Nihaleni fully exploited its dramatic possibilities with best of direction, making it into a powerful film of 5 hours, the whole country was aroused into a stir. The forces which were shown communal in pre-partition days were as ferocious 4 decades later at the telecast of the episodes of Tamas. The progressive forces in Tamas are shown as weak as shown earlier in Jhuta Sach. Their moral position is also weak. They are expecting secular sanity from the very forces which have communal leanings. Moreover, they at that time had defended the two-nation theory based on religion. On the whole, both Jhuta Sach and Tamas interpret the social and historic facts of partition days in an objective and realist manner. The social reality of these days has been drawn in the dispassionate fashion. Now, next great author, a storyteller named Sadat Hasan Manto. He wrote very touchingly and explicitly on partition experiences. Sadat Hasan Manto was born and brought up in undivided India, born in a village near Samrala in Punjab on 11th May 1912. He lived in Amritsar, Aligarh, Bombay, Delhi, and Lahore. He went to Pakistan after partition and lived for less than 8 years in Lahore. He passed away in the age of less than 43 years. Out of 43 years Manto lived, he gave 21 years to writing, which did not give him much solace while he was alive, but which gave him a status of a major writer of world literature later. Manto wrote in many genres. He wrote stories, essays, radio plays, sketches, etc. His writing on man-woman relations made him much controversial writer, for which he was dragged to he was dragged to courts many times, both in India as well as in Pakistan. But the writings which made him really immortal and in a sense classic writer are focused on the partition of India. These writings include both short stories and satirical writings. In this lecture, we shall discuss some of his stories and satirical writings published under the Siyah Hashiye, the black margins, as Toba Tek Singh, Manto's classic story on partition has been subject of discussion since last 45 years or so. In many languages, this story will not be discussed here. In fact, there are other very sensitive stories and other writings on partition by Manto which have been rather clouded by the overwhelming presence of Toba Tek Singh. The purpose here is to bring those of other important writings in focus. Don't say that 1 lakh Hindus and 1 lakh Muslims have been killed. Say that 2 lakh human beings have died, and this is not so big tragedy. That 2 lakh human beings have died. The real tragedy is the dead have not gone into anybody's account. After killing 1 lakh Hindus, Muslims would have thought that Hindu religion is dead, but it is alive and will remain alive. The same way, after killing 1 lakh Muslims, Hindus would have boasted that Islam is finished, but the reality is before you. Islam has not given a little scratch. This is the opening stanza of Sahai, a touching story, Sahai, a touching story on the situation of partition by Manto. As one can see from this stanza, Manto was deeply humanistic in his perception of partition situation. Manto, who penned one full book of short stories, Maktal, on the theme of partition, which include 13 stories. Apart from these stories, Manto also wrote many biting pieces of 1947. His satirical pieces include 32 small and not too so small prose pieces, which can be called in Western items as pieces of black humor. For Manto, partition of India was just partition. He never perceived the partition as independence and birth of a new nation. Manto never eulogized Pakistan, though he did migrate to that country. It was rather a painful development for him, which even contributed in cutting short his life, as he was never emotionally comfortable in that new country called Pakistan. All of his stories and other writings regarding partition are expression of his deep pain and anguish. Manto, like many other writers, did not go into the political reasons behind partition. He confined himself to the human suffering and caused by this upheaval. Monto was one of those talented writers who delved deep into the fathoms of human soul. Monto was not bothered about the upper and surface layers of human characters. He was interested more in deeper layers, and from deep layers of human characters, he would find extremely human characters among those from Suab and culture. Yes, just wait. Sharifan and Gurumukh Singh ki Wasiyat, the will of Gurumukh Singh, are two stories which can be termed as stories of black humor. In Gurumukh Singh ki Wasiyat, Gurumukh Singh has always paid respects. Who is talking? And in Sharifan, Qasim goes wild after seeing his young daughter Sharifan's naked dead body, and in revenge he goes to a Hindu house. He rapes his young daughter and kills her. And when he is able to see her, she is daughter of his friend. When the man enters the house, Qasim indicates to the dead body by uttering one word, Sharifan, and the armed man goes out crying, Bimla, Bimla. In this short story, Manto had tried to prick the conscience of wild men of 1947, not with a pin, but by piercing a sharp knife into their buffalo thickened conscience. The men had gone so blind in fury that they were raping and killing their own daughters. Kholdo is again the story of pricking the conscience with a knife. When young girl has been so repeatedly raped by her fellow religion volunteers, and that at the sound of Kholdo uttered in the context of opening a window of a hospital room, she she unknots her shalwar while still being unconscious by the trauma. The irony takes the shape of black humor when father cries to joy that his daughter is alive. The father's joy makes the doctor sweat from head to toe. The utter human, the utter inhumanness and the lowest depths of partition days are depicted in the short story in such devastating fashion that even the reader is shaken to uh, the core. Thanda Gosht, the cold flesh, became quite controversial story because it is focused on sexual life of its characters, which is affected by the riots, and the sexually vigorous character becomes important after becoming aware that he was trying to have sex with a dead girl. Manto has depicted the sexual aspect of human life in many of his writings as natural part of life, which has shocked many orthodox readers of literature, particularly among Muslim clergy. Because of this reaction, Mento has been prosecuted many times for some of his stories, Thanda Gosht being one of those stories for which Manto was persecuted in Pakistan. Apart from this, his short story collection, Maktal, focusing on partition, Manto also wrote being satirical pieces. He gave these pieces the title of Siya Hashia, the black margins. Manto dedicated this book to that man who, while talking about his bloody deeds, said, "When I killed an old woman, felt that I have committed murder." These are the pieces to laugh with tears in eyes. These are the small pieces like Dawat-e Amal. When the fire broke out, the whole mohalla was burned except for one shop, the shop which has the signboard hanging upon it. Here you can get all the material of construction. In August 1947, when after 300 years in India, the British finally left, the subcontinent was partitioned into two independent nation states, Hindu majority India and Muslim majority Pakistan. Immediately there have begun one of the greatest migrations in human history, as millions of Muslims trekked to West and East Pakistan, the latter now known as Bangladesh, while millions of Hindus and Sikhs headed in the opposite direction. Many hundreds of thousands never made it across the Indian subcontinent. Communities that had coexisted for almost a millennium attacked each other in a terrifying outbreak of sectarian violence, with Hindus and Sikhs on one side and Muslims on other. A mutual genocide as unexpected as it was unprecedented in Punjab and Bengal provinces, abutting abutting India's borders with West and East Pakistan, respectively. The carnage was especially intense, with massacres, arson, forced conversions, mass abductions, and savage and sexual violence. Some 75,000 women were raped, and many of them were then disfigured or dismembered. So, today I have just given you an outline of partition of India and the victims of partitions in India. So, dear students, this way I have finished my lecture today. Thank you. I have finished my lecture today. Please send your that is called